On a quiet Monday morning in March 2021, the peace of a New Haven neighborhood was shattered by gunshots. As residents peered out their windows, they saw a horrifying scene unfold. A young woman lay motionless on the street, while a man sped away in a car with a baby inside. This was the tragic end of 28-year-old Alessia Mesquita's life, cut short by domestic violence in a case that would shock the community and leave 2 young children without their mother.
Up at 5 o'clock, we are following breaking news from New Haven. A mother is dead after police say she was shot and killed right in front of her little girl, and the suspect is the child's own father.
Alessia Mesquita was born on June 20, 1992 in New Haven, Connecticut to parents Sandy Mesquita and George Maldonado. Growing up in the Fairhaven Heights neighborhood, Alessia was known for her vibrant personality and caring nature. Friends and family described her as someone who lit up any room she entered with her bright smile and positive energy. As a student at Wilbercross High School, Alessia met her best friend Liz Ayala during their freshman year. The two quickly bonded over their shared sense of humor. "We were both goofy and always joking around," Liz said. Alessia could make anyone laugh. After graduating, Alessia pursued her dream of working in healthcare by attending Branford Hall Career Institute to become a medical assistant. She went on to work at an urgent care center, where colleagues praised her compassionate care of patients. In her personal life, Alessia married her high school sweetheart Joseph Martinez in 2012 when they were both 19 years old. In January 2013, they welcomed a son, though the young couple later separated in 2018. They remained committed co-parents to their son. By early 2019, Alessia had begun a new relationship with 27-year-old Rashad Newton. Friends said Alessia seemed happy at first, but troubling signs soon emerged. Newton had a criminal record, including convictions for and weapons charges. Those close to Alessia grew concerned about his controlling and jealous behavior. Despite the red flags, Alessia became pregnant with Newton's child in mid-2019. She gave birth to their daughter in February 2020. But the relationship continued to deteriorate, with Newton growing increasingly volatile and abusive. On the morning of March 22, 2021, Alessia and Newton were driving through New Haven with their 13-month-old daughter in the backseat. According to Newton's later confession, they began arguing in the car. When Alessia tried to exit the vehicle near the intersection of Clifton Street and Lenox Street, Newton stopped her from taking the baby. In a rage, Newton pulled out a 9mm handgun and opened fire on Alessia as she stood on the sidewalk. Multiple witnesses reported hearing 5 to 6 gunshots ring out just after 9:15 a.m. Alessia collapsed to the ground with several gunshot wounds, including a severe head injury. Newton then sped away in the car with the baby still inside, leaving Alessia bleeding on the street. Despite the efforts of responding officers and paramedics, Alessia was pronounced dead at the scene. She was just 28 years old. The New Haven Police Department immediately launched a region-wide search for Newton and the missing infant. Detective Brian Conklin took charge of the homicide investigation, processing the crime scene and interviewing witnesses. On scene, in immediate proximity to Ms. Mesquita's body, there were some personal effects and shell casings, Detective Conklin said, but the key item that drew our attention was a baby bottle. It indicated to us that there was obviously an infant in play on this scene. Police soon identified Rashad Newton as the prime suspect, based on witness descriptions and Alessia's mother informing them of his history of abusive behavior. Detectives obtained surveillance video from a nearby home that captured the shooting, confirming Newton as the gunman. A silver alert was issued for the 13-month-old baby girl as fears grew for her safety. After an intense hours-long search, police located Newton at a relative's apartment on Eastern Street in New Haven. The child was recovered unharmed, and Newton surrendered after a brief standoff. In a lengthy interview with detectives, Newton confessed to shooting Alessia multiple times during an argument. He claimed he had been paranoid about being followed and snapped when Alessia tried to leave the car with their daughter. Newton told police he had considered after the shooting, but ultimately decided to turn himself in. Rashad Newton was charged with risk of injury to a minor and criminal possession of a firearm in Alessia's death. He was also charged with first-degree assault for a previous 2020 incident where he allegedly shot Alessia's former roommate during an argument. On December 1, 2022, Newton pled guilty to murder and first-degree assault. At his sentencing on January 26, 2023, he received 35 years in prison. This, in my opinion, is one of the most evil homicides I've seen, Detective Conklin said of the case. He took a great friend, a beautiful daughter, a beautiful mother. The senseless of Alessia Mesquita left a community in mourning and 2 young children without their mother. Alessia's mother, Sandy Mesquita, gained custody of her baby girl and has been raising her since the tragedy. The 6-year-old boy lives with his father but maintains a close relationship with his maternal family. The case highlighted the dangers of domestic violence and the importance of supporting victims. While nothing can undo the heartbreaking loss of Alessia Mesquita, her family is committed to honoring her memory by speaking out against domestic violence and working to prevent future tragedies. As the community continues to heal, Alessia is remembered as a bright light whose kindness touched countless lives in her too short time on Earth. Thank you for watching. As we bring this case to a close, we want to take a moment to honor the memory of Alessia Mesquita. Behind every headline is a real person, a life cut short, a family grieving, and a community left in sorrow. Our deepest condolences go out to Alessia's loved ones. We share these stories not to exploit tragedy, but to remember, reflect, and raise awareness so that victims like Alessia are never forgotten. If this story moved you, please consider subscribing and sharing to help others learn Alessia's story. Until next time, stay safe, stay aware, and take care of one another.